when should I tell my daughter about her biological father?
Tell me the story.
So about 9 years ago, I met my daughter's biological dad. Everything was fine in the beginning, as it always is. Fast forward, we had a child, and then he completely disappeared. So then fast forward 3 more years, and my now husband comes into our lives, and she has known him as dad ever since. But she is starting to ask questions and piece things together, and I don't know where to go from here.
So how old is she now?
She is almost 8.
Yeah, probably a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's reverse engineer this in a way that an 8-year-old could absorb it, right, or metabolize it. Number one, her understanding will be different than yours because she's 8, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you also have the hurt associated with that relationship and the abandonment and the fear, being a single mom, all that stuff. She doesn't have any of that.
Mm-hmm.
This is just her life. This is her lived experience. It's all she knows, right?
Right.
What we don't want to do, because there's going to be some heartache as she gets older and she begins to ask herself, what was so bad about me that my dad left?
Mm-hmm.
We don't also want her asking, and what else has my mom not told me?
Right. And that is my worry.
Yes. And that's a very real worry that if I were you, I would let that guide the importance of just being honest moving forward. So have y'all talked about sex yet, or how body parts work, or why she has her body parts and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, we've talked, not sex, but we've talked about body parts, the appropriate names, all of that, yes.
Okay. Would she, if you sat down and said, how does a baby get inside mommy's tummy? Would she know mechanically how that works?
No,
Okay.
She wouldn't know that.
Okay. If she did, that's often a good place to start.
Mm-hmm.
But she's going to know dad, right? And so
yeah,
she's going to know her lived experience with the man who has shown up in her life, but she is going to need to know sooner rather than later that her part of her was from another guy.
Mm-hmm.
So mommy made a baby with another man and he was sick. What? Yeah, he was not doing good and he left. Why did he leave? He was really struggling and going through some hard stuff, and honestly, I'll never know.
Mm-hmm.
And you can tell her, that made me really sad, and I know that someday that's going to make you really sad. And then your amazing daddy showed up, and he chose you.
Yeah.
And that's going to be the lifeline for the next 18 years of her life. That in those dark moments of why did my bio dad leave, this guy chose you. And so if he doesn't already, that needs to be part of his regular cadence. You are beautiful. You are smart. I love you. And I'm so glad that I chose to be, I get to be your dad.
Yeah, he is that 100%, thankfully.
Awesome. Amazing, awesome, amazing. And what we're going to try to do is give her some sort of tether, some sort of anchors. So when the reality of all this begins to wash over her, it's always going to be dad, your bio dad, your father, if you will, was sick. He was struggling. Because nobody in the right mind leaves their daughter, right?
Right. Yeah.
And so give me an example of some of the questions she's asking.
So she has a brother who has a different dad, she is aware of his other dad. You know what I mean? But
so you have 2 kids by 2 different dads?
I do.
Okay.
Yes.
That's actually, I don't want to say awesome, but that makes this conversation much easier, right?
Yeah.
So you can say,
maybe. I don't know.
You know how little brother has his bio dad? You have that too. Where is he?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
He was really not doing good. So he was sick. And sick is a word that an 8-year-old can wrap her head around.
Right.
And in her mind, it's going to be a sick tummy. It's going to be whatever. And you can say, he was sick in his mind.
Mm-hmm.
He had owies in his head. And owies is probably too young for an 8-year-old, right?
I know. She's like 8 going on 18.
Yeah, 8-year-olds are really savvy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and very, very smart. And so that's where I would start. And the fact that she has a mental picture, a model in her mind of stepdad is taking care of little brother and loves him. And hopefully he's saying the same things. You are a handsome little boy, and I love you, and I'm so glad that I got to choose you. I chose you. Out of all the kids in the world, I chose you. That he's doing that too. Then she's got a model of, we need to have this conversation about your other dad. About your father, if you will. Not your other dad, but your father.
Mm-hmm.
And
and I guess it was, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I guess I didn't plant the seed well enough when she was younger because, I don't know, I guess that would have been a really good outlet for me at that time. Like, yes, your brother has a different dad and so do you. And then now your dad now, my husband now is your stepdad. But like at that age when she was 3 going on to 4, like she always just called him dad. And like, that's what she always knew. So I never like planted that seed when she was younger. And I think that's where I'm at now. I'm like, oh shoot,
yeah.
I maybe should have.
Well, and honestly, my daughter's 9 and I am literally daily. My wife's out of town. She's in Texas taking care of some family who lost their home in all this flooding mess. It's just been me and my daughter for a while now. And my son's out. He's been at another camp in New Mexico. It's just been me and my daughter. And I am daily astounded by how insightful she is. And I know this. I know child development. I've worked with young kids. And I'm like, oh, she picks up everything. And not only does she pick it up, she wraps what she picks up in a story that is homespun, that is often nowhere near the truth, but it makes sense when she says it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Blows my mind. Yeah.
She asked my wife a few weeks ago, because she reads all the time, and she's burning through all the Judy Blume books and the Harry Potter book, everything. But she has put together that when parents get divorced, dads get apartments. And she jokingly said last night we were having pizza together. I took her out for pizza, and she jokingly said, "Dad, have you thought Mom might just be getting tired of you?" And she started laughing. But even the wheels are already turning. Like, oh, what would happen if this was our life? Right? And so I called my wife and I'm like, are you getting tired of me? And my wife's laughing on the phone. She's like, but all it to say is I would start with my 8-year-old. I have a real big grown-up talk I need to have with you. So can I give you a totally unrelated example about how I did this once in my life?
Yeah.
One day when my son, and I don't remember how young he was much younger than 8, but, and I made this cheesy, and this is not generalizable to every situation, but I want you to, like, the intentionality. He said something along the lines of, and maybe he was 4 or 5, I don't remember how old he was, but he said, I'm asking for this stuff from Santa, and if I don't get it from Santa, I'm going to ask God because he'll give it to me. And I was like, oh, you're starting to conflate the two. And so literally what I did was I said, hey, I need to have a grown-up conversation with you, and it's going to be hard. And so we're going to go do it in a place where dudes have hard conversations. And he looked at me and he goes, where? And I said, we're going to go sit in the back of my truck in the driveway. And so we climbed up in the back of the truck and sat down. And I was being ridiculous, obviously, but I created a special location and a special space. And it was somewhere that we don't normally go. So he knew this is going to be a different kind of conversation. And he was so honored by the intentionality around the specialness of it all. So I don't know if that's a park bench for y'all. I don't know if it is probably wouldn't do a diner. And I always tell people to go to breakfast, but I probably wouldn't do that with an 8-year-old because there's so much going on. But we're going to go in a special place because I need to have a grown-up conversation. And I think you tell her, when you were really young, I didn't have this conversation, and I should have had this conversation with you earlier. And it's really big. And even if you say, Mommy's sorry that I should have had this earlier, I should have said this earlier. And like how little brother has a different daddy, so do you. And she might have a million questions, and what you have to commit to is telling the truth.
That was one of my questions. Yeah. I feel like, yes, I know the truth is very important, but also like when she gets older, is it important for her if if she ever wanted to like build her own impression of him, because like I don't want to tell her the truth and then she builds her own impression off of that.
Yes.
Or how much of the truth do I tell? You know, like
there's 100% chance, especially in the world we live in now with technology and social media and 23andMe just went under, but all that, like all that genetic stuff, there's 100% chance she will have an interaction with him at some point, or she will seek one.
Right.
And so you don't want to have this conversation. Your dad sucked, or he was a bum, and or words like he left us, because she will know half of me is him, and if he's bad, half of me is bad. That's why we're going to say he was sick. Everybody gets sick. And you can say, I don't know if if you ever like had knee surgery or had a broken foot or you had a tummy ache or whatever, you could say, remember that time I got sick or I hurt my knee? His hurt was in his mind. And it was so big that he just had to go.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use intentional words when she's 8, like he had to. He wasn't okay. He was sick, because I'm not going to use words like he chose to. When she's 12, 13, then we're going to have that harder conversation, and you got to buckle up, because that's a nightmare for a kid.
Yeah.
Right?
I could only imagine. Yes.
But what she will also have is, by that point, 7, 8, 9 years of every single day, the man who has chosen to become her dad. And I would steer clear of words like stepdad right now.
Oh, yeah, we don't use them. Yeah. I only use them to like adults not around her, just so they get the idea.
Well, and I don't even know if you need to do that. You don't need to be disclosing your whole... Because there's a part of you, my guess is, that you have some shame about, I got 2 different kids by 2 different dads and I'm married to a third guy. And you walk...
I should, but I don't.
Okay, I'm not saying shame. I'm not saying like...
Yeah, I know. I get the stigma, I guess, but I don't.
Good. And I don't want you leading into social situations like trying to explain it all. This is their dad.
Yeah.
And if they want to dig in and they're close enough relationally with you that you feel like they're safe enough that you can tell like the full story, awesome. But I would refer to him as dad everywhere.
Yeah.
And because he's awesome, he's chosen to be that. But he plays a very important role in her health and well-being going forward.
Yeah. And do you think I should have the conversation with her, just her and I, or with him as well?
I would have it just y'all two first.
Okay.
And then possibly plan something special with him. And understand that your 8-year-old may say, I don't want to talk to him. Or she may, and any feelings she has are going to come out heavy all over the place. And it might come out in, you're not my dad, I don't like you, all that stuff. And that's where you and your husband have to be really tethered, that your 8-year-old's feelings are not going to dictate anger responses, emotional responses. Like her feelings are going to be really big.
Yeah.
Right? Or she might go, okay.
All right. Yeah, cool.
But that doesn't mean, even if she plays it totally cool, that doesn't mean that it didn't impact her in a major way.
Right. Yeah.
Right? Yes, as soon as possible, have that and tell her we're gonna have a grown-up conversation, and this is a really hard one because mommy didn't do this one right, and so mommy's gonna have to tell you the truth about some stuff, and we're gonna have a special conversation. And she will anchor into that. She'll remember that conversation. As long ago as it was, my son remembers the back of the truck conversation. And obviously, telling my son Santa's not real is different than, hey, who you think is your father is not your father. But making it very special and very direct and refusing to say awful, mean things about dad and just saying he wasn't well. He was not well. Is the right way to go. But thank you so much for the call. It's game on, dude. Let's make this happen ASAP. And then buckle up. It's going to be a tough ride as she tries to figure out, who am I? And we never want her to question while she's seeking identity. By the way, every kid seeks identity, but this is going to be a unique chasing of who am I. She's never going to wonder if she's loved, because we're going to make sure we are hyper intentional about making sure she is loved and seen and known in that house every single night of her life.